When I, a teen male, was a baby, my parents divorced. My dad had been cheating on my mom, and it only came to light because his mistress, my stepmom, got pregnant and made him choose between her and my mom. 9 months and 1 divorce later, my brother Ethan, now a teen, was born. Needless to say, my mom isn't fond of Ethan. She doesn't hate him, but she doesn't love him either or want any type of relationship with him. On the semi-frequently times when she sees him, when she picks me up and drops me off at my dad's house, she ignores him. She avoids making eye contact or initiating conversation with him. When he tries to talk to her, she gives short answers and gets us both on our way ASAP. My dad and stepmom have sheltered Ethan from the past family drama, and it's always been frustrating. Still, I figured it wasn't my place to interfere. Because of that, he didn't understand why my mom didn't like him. He thought it was because she hates my dad. A bit true, and is a cold, resentful old hag who can't leave the past behind and is jealous of my stepmom. His words exactly from 2 years ago. And again, partially true minus the jealousy, but in my opinion she has a good reason. Before you all tell me that my mom lied to me about my dad's affair, he admitted to everything, as I told it when I pressed him for details some years back. Anyway, on to the incident. My mom planned a vacation and of course I was invited, but she also invited my paternal uncle who took my mom's side in the family schism that was the affair and divorce and who still remains close friends with her to this day, and his kids. When Ethan found out that his cousins were invited on vacation but not him, he broke down and came to me asking why my mom hated him so much. He actually broke down crying. I felt so bad for him. I decided that he deserved to know the truth. I tried to break the truth as gently as I possibly could, but there's really no good way to tell a sobbing kid that he's the result of cheating, and that's why my mom never wanted a relationship with him. The good side is that he wasn't crying anymore or mad at my mom. The bad side is that he was really angry at his parents. Well, I had to leave for vacation. I'm actually writing on the flight, lol, and my dad and stepmom have been blowing up my phone. They're furious at me for telling him before he was ready. I told my mom the situation, and she told me that that was kind of a jerk move because I dropped a bomb and left them to clean up the mess. Ethan isn't exactly emotionally mature, and considering the fury that I last saw him in, I wouldn't want to deal with that cluster mess either. Now I think I might have undermined my dad and stepmom's parenting, and maybe I should have waited until after I got back, so I could help prevent the implosion that's going on back home. Am I the idiot? Not the idiot, and it seems like the parents are the ones who weren't ready. They were happy to crap talk your mom to Ethan. Where do you think Ethan got that she was a cold, resentful old hag from? I'd be willing to bet stepmom and or dad refer to her in that way. They never would have told him the truth. It was easier to paint your mom as the bad guy instead of revealing they have been all along. Of course, that phrase came from them. It's not something a kid comes up with on their own. It's very much something that a jealous, bitter woman would say. For example, a homewrecker who is disappointed that the husband she stole from another woman isn't up to her standards and might possibly still be carrying a torch for the love of his life, which he will forever regret losing because he couldn't keep it in his pants. Just saying. Yeah, I'm an avid reader and have been since elementary school. I wouldn't have come up with old hag, I would have called her a witch. And he isn't ready? It's been over 13 years. They were never going to tell him and now he knows anyway. I have a hard time imagining anyone's parents sitting them down to say, yeah, so I just wanted to let you know, I knocked up your mom while I was married to OP's mom. It blew up my marriage and that's why she doesn't want to be super friendly with you. They never intended to tell because it's much easier to say, I don't know, son, she's just jealous. Your dad and stepmom absolutely deserve it. This is the consequence of their choices. Oh, who would have thought that people willing to have an affair would be so self-centered? Also, if your dad and stepmom had really wanted to keep him protected, they could have made up a nicer version of the truth instead of letting the boy think he was hated by his brother's mom for no reason. They only thought about themselves, so the cluster mess is entirely theirs to deal with, rightfully. Yesterday, we celebrated my, male 23, girlfriend's 21st birthday. Her parents threw a big celebration party with all her friends and family. Personally, this was the first time I met anyone in her family except for her parents. It was also her first birthday I celebrated with her since we'd been dating for about 7 months. I'm originally from Romania, but I've been living abroad for 11 years. My girlfriend mentioned at some point that one of her grandmothers was also from Romania, but we didn't discuss it in detail. So yesterday I met my girlfriend's grandmother and what can I say? I couldn't believe how small the world was. She wasn't only Romanian, but also from the same county as me. So we talked and talked a lot. She told me her life story. I really enjoyed the conversation, especially talking in my native language, and that's how I spent most of the party. Of course, when my girlfriend asked me to take photos with her or when the cake came, I gave her my full attention. But for the most part, she spent time with her friends, dancing, drinking, etc., while I was talking with her grandmother. I didn't pay it much mind, but after the party was done, she told me she felt neglected by me during her birthday, and this morning she seemed angry at me. Am I the idiot for mostly ignoring my girlfriend on her birthday? Not the idiot. I would personally be charmed if my partner got on so well with my grandmother and spoke to her all night in her first language. I'm old though, so maybe I expect different things from a partner than a freshly minted adult does. A partner who engages with my family and makes them feel important and special is lovely. And honestly, I would also be so delighted to see my partner happy talking about their home and getting the chance to speak to someone who understands them in their language of origin. Hanging out with her grandmother at her birthday party is actually sweet. Gonna go against the grain and say you are the idiot. If she had to pull you away to do pics or cake, that should have been your hint to spend some time with her. It's nice you connected with her grandmother, but she probably wanted her boyfriend to also be drinking, dancing and talking to her and her friends on her 21st birthday. Going off to speak to a grandma in a language you can't understand for hours straight is not exactly normal party behaviour. Your intentions were good, but you should apologise and try to be more mindful of how you split up your time, especially at an event in your partner's honour. She could have used her words if she wanted more of OP's attention. I'm sure her grandmother wouldn't have minded her borrowing you for a dance or two. I feel she's overreacting. Everyone was there for her, so you being by her side the entire time shouldn't have been necessary. I'd be damn happy if my boyfriend got close to my gammy. Hopefully she'll calm down. I, 35 female, have shared custody of my daughter Grace, pre-tween, with my ex, 37 male. Grace loves The Little Mermaid and has wanted to dye her hair red since she was about 5. My ex said no, she was too young, and at the time I agreed, and it never came up again. She and her friends went to see the film for her friend's birthday when it was released. She got really interested in Ariel all over again and started asking about getting her hair coloured red again. My ex again said no, but I told him that we could let her use temporary hair dye, which will wash out in about 10 washes, so around 5 weeks, and compromised on the shade of red Ariel wears in the films, that's ginger and not bright red, and he agreed to this. Grace has very fair platinum blonde hair inherited from me, while my ex has dark brown hair. The colour in the bottle was burnt copper. I'd shown my ex the bottle before dyeing Grace's hair, but as Grace's hair is very light, it turned more red than the copper as it said on the packet. I wasn't too worried as the colour would wash out and look more like the model, and Grace was delighted with her new hair. My ex came to pick her up and said Grace looked just like Ariel. While at his for the weekend, my ex got her to wash her hair and he didn't tell me. I was furious. Grace was meant to use a colour-safe shampoo, and her hair was washed just before she got her hair dyed to maximise the colour of her hair. Her hair is now very faded and dull, and she came home and burst into tears. My ex said he didn't know that regular shampoo would cause the colour to come out like that, but when I pressed him, he said he was taking Grace to his boss's barbecue and he thought her hair was too distracting. He blames me for not saying her hair would be so bright, although it turned out like the reference pictures on the packet for platinum blonde. He claims he only looked at the hair colour of the model in front, although her colour is less vibrant as she goes from brown to copper. I told him that it's his fault for approving it without checking all the details. Grace told me she told my ex she needed to use special shampoo from me, but my ex told her that his shampoo would be the same. I've re-dyed Grace's hair from what was left over in the packet as she was so upset, and my ex is calling me the idiot for re-dyeing her hair as I didn't get his permission. I don't think I'm in the wrong. Edit, my ex never washes Grace's hair. She hates the feeling of wet hair and I struggle to get her to wash it. When we split, I took on the responsibility to wash her hair. I didn't use box dye on her. I dyed Grace's hair temporarily because she wanted it. It was a fun way for her to express herself, and it wasn't harming her or anyone else. Not the idiot. He said he was taking Grace to his boss's barbecue and thought her hair was too distracting. Too distracting for whom? Too distracting from what? Her father prioritized using her as a life prop and betrayed her trust and yours to do it. Now he's gaslighting you, making his mistake your responsibility. It's not a mistake. It's him choosing to go against a decision he agreed to without consulting you and then blaming you. Based on the divorce, I bet this isn't the first time he's done this. It's distracting is the go-to BS excuse. Coloured hair? Distracting. Shoulders? Distracting. Next it'll be ankles. Is there any part of the custody agreement that details dyeing hair? I'm going to guess no. It's not a medical procedure. Even in the case of medical procedures, I would assume there only needs to be consent from one parent. It's only hair. She wanted it and loved it. I literally had the same obsession with Ariel and red hair. I was allowed to get it dyed red from gold and blonde when I was 9. Never regretted it. Your ex has control issues. I've, nearly adult female, been working since I was 14 and have been saving most of my paychecks every week. I had around $9,000 saved up and I'm saving up to get my own apartment when I'm older. Yesterday, my mom told me that she had to take out $5,000 to help a friend, and I asked when she would pay me back. She seemed confused that I would expect her to do that. She went on a rant about how she bought groceries that I ate. I live in a house that she paid rent for and a bunch of other things, and she had no intention of making her pay it back, and I was extremely selfish to expect her to. She claimed that the $5,000 she took from me isn't even close to how much she spent on me as a baby, and I have absolutely no right to want her to pay it back. The way I see it is that she basically stole over 2 years' worth of my life since I was constantly working or at school, and I put myself through an absolute nightmare to earn it. If it were $10, $20, $50 or even $100, I'd be fine letting her keep it since it's not that much. $5,000, however, is a significant amount of money and represents a chunk of my life. I essentially work for nothing. Am I the idiot for expecting my money back? Not the idiot in a big way, and once you're 18, get her off your account. Honestly, I would withdraw the rest of my money in cash, hide it very well or leave it with a trusted friend, and just use the bank account to cash your paychecks. I also grew up with toxic parents who threw the fact that they paid to raise me in my face. They are wrong. That is their responsibility to feed and house you until the age of 18. Do not back down, do not allow access to your money, and let her know you expect that money back or you will find a lawyer to take her to civil claims court. I'm not allowed to have a bank account, it's all in her safe. I didn't have a choice. She took it from the safe before telling me. And that $5,000 doesn't come close to the amount of therapy I'll need because of the crap I put up with growing up. Wow, she should not have your money in a safe only she accesses. That is insane. Given what you're saving for, your savings should be in a long-term savings account, earning as much interest as possible. That is completely unacceptable. Contact the local authorities and get your money out of her safe. You will never see a dime of that money if you don't. Don't you have anywhere that you can stay where you're safe? Financial abuse is abuse. Even crazier is that she took it out for a friend. I'd even let that friend know where your mom got the money. However, I doubt you will get the money back. Absolutely crazy for her to take money from your account without asking, and even more crazy for her to not pay you back. She's legally obligated to provide food, clothing, and shelter. I'm sorry, OP, not every parent deserves a child. I'm afraid the rest of your money, and whatever is left of your relationship with your egg donor, is gone. I, 49 male, have been married to my wife Kim, 40, for 10 years, and we've been together for 12. We live in Australia where most schools have uniforms, but Kim, being American, didn't have a uniform growing up. Recently, my stepdaughter Anna, teen, has been rolling up her school skirt. When I was in school, it was common for girls to roll up their skirts, and even my daughter, 22, did it during high school. Since Kim leaves for work earlier than I do, I usually drop Anna off at school. Anna is asleep when Kim leaves most mornings. Over the past month, I've noticed that Anna's skirt has been getting shorter. Yesterday, I had to go to work early, so Kim agreed to drop Anna off at school. During the car ride, Kim yelled at Anna for the length of her skirt and told her to roll it down. Anna mentioned that I'd seen her skirt before and never said anything. Kim is now extremely upset with me and has accused me of being a creep. In hindsight, I should have told Kim about Anna's skirt, but I didn't see it as a big issue as it's normal here. Also, I wasn't really sure how to bring it up. I only say the rolled skirt is normal as my older kid did it, and I've had the same argument with her. It gets hot, and while boys can wear shorts, girls don't, so I understand she could be rolling her skirt due to the heat. I'm a dad to Anna, but I leave Kim to parent bigger decisions with Anna. However, after her comment, now I don't want to be around Anna alone anymore. I've never thought of Anna that way, and have been in her life since she was 2. Oh wow, calling me like that for respecting my stepchild's autonomy would change my marriage forever. I would never feel safe alone with my stepchild again, and I couldn't look at my partner without feeling sick that they think so little of me. You're not the idiot, and I'm sorry. I would be so upset. Agreed. She's totally out of line with that comment. Honestly, I think the length of her skirt is between Anna and the school. Why should you be policing it? Your wife would prefer you monitor the amount of thigh her daughter is showing. It's normal teen behavior, and if you brought it up, she probably still would have questioned why you were paying attention to her daughter's skirt. Lose-lose situation here. Your wife is seriously overreacting.